Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right in to objectively decode a taboo medical mystery that affects literally millions of people worldwide. We are taking a structured look at a part of the human body that most folks are just way too embarrassed to discuss, even with their own doctors. Look, let's start by acknowledging the elephant in the room. The sheer embarrassment that keeps so many people suffering in silence with unmentionable pain and bleeding. The societal stigma surrounding our bowel habits and anorectal anatomy means that when something goes wrong down there, our immediate reaction is fear, isolation, and avoidance. People will literally endure agonizing daily pain rather than seek a simple medical evaluation. But today, we are shining a light on this dark corner of human health.
Now, these frightening symptoms often make people assume the absolute worst. Seeing bright red blood coating your stool or dripping into the toilet bowl, yeah, that's terrifying. Experiencing a sharp, tearing pain every single time you use the bathroom, followed by intense muscle spasms, mucus discharge, or severe pruritus ani, which is just the clinical term for intense itching, can completely ruin your quality of life. But here is the reassuring truth. While these symptoms are super alarming, they usually point to one of two highly treatable, non-life-threatening conditions.
Okay, let's dive into exactly what might be happening and how modern medicine solves it. Here's our agenda. First, the unmentionable pain. Second, hemorrhoids, the swollen cushions. Third, fissures, the painful tear. Fourth, the constipation connection. And finally, from Botox to surgery, let's get to it. Section 1, the unmentionable pain. Identifying the two main culprits. When a patient presents with rectal bleeding and pain, clinical investigation immediately suspects two primary offenders. While there are definitely other pathologies out there, the vast majority of cases causing the specific brand of misery come down to either hemorrhoids or anal fissures. Moving to Section 2, hemorrhoids, the swollen cushions. Debunking the varicose vein myth. Now, what's really fascinating about our first culprit is that nearly everyone misunderstands what it actually is. If you ask the average person on the street to describe a hemorrhoid, they're almost certainly going to give you the wrong answer. It's a complete myth that hemorrhoids are simply varicose veins. They're actually displaced structural cushions from inside the anal canal. Our bodies are naturally equipped with these spongy vascular masses of tissue, usually sitting at the 3, 7, and 11 o'clock positions, and their actual job is to help keep the anal canal completely sealed. So hemorrhoids only become a medical issue when these natural cushions get dilated, congested, and physically disrupted from their proper anatomical moorings. Because this is essentially a mechanical failure of these vascular cushions, doctors classify hemorrhoids into 4 degrees of severity. First-degree hemorrhoids stay safely inside the rectum. You can't see them, but they might bleed. Second-degree push-out or prolapse when you go to the bathroom, but they pop back in on their own. Third-degree hemorrhoids prolapse and actually require the patient to manually push them back inside. And finally, fourth-degree hemorrhoids just remain persistently prolapsed outside the body, and they can't be reduced. Section 3. Fissures, the painful tear, a literal split in the skin. Let's look at our second suspect. Unlike the bulky, prolapsing hemorrhoid, this next condition is tiny, but it is notoriously agonizing. We're talking about anal fissures. A fissure is quite literally a cut or a tear in the delicate squamous lining of the lower anal canal, usually right towards the back or the posterior midline. When it turns into a chronic, ongoing issue, the body's healing response can even create a small, swollen skin tag on the outside, which clinicians call a sentinel pile. But make no mistake, it's the tear itself that is the source of the agony. So here's the absolute game changer: anatomical location. It explains everything about what the patient actually feels. There is an anatomical border inside us called the dentate line. Above this line, we have visceral nerve innervation, which practically lacks basic pain sensors. Because internal hemorrhoids originate above this line, they are usually completely painless, mostly just presenting as bright red blood. But anal fissures? They happen below the dentate line, an area wired with highly sensitive somatic nerves. This is exactly why a tiny fissure causes exquisite screaming pain, while a much larger internal hemorrhoid might cause no pain at all. Section 4. The constipation connection, the common enemy. You might be wondering how two totally different pathologies, swollen cushions and torn skin, happen in the exact same spot. Well, the answer is a shared enemy that absolutely plagues modern society. Constipation and the heavy straining required to pass hard stools physically traumatizes the area. It's really a mechanical issue. the sheer downward pressure of prolonged straining on the toilet displaces those vascular hemorrhoidal cushions, literally pushing them out of place. At the same time, the passage of hard, unyielding feces stretches the delicate anal canal well beyond its capacity, causing the skin to tear open. For fissures, this builds into a devastatingly vicious cycle. Pay close attention to this biological loop, because this is the core of the problem. Hard feces cause the initial tear. The somatic nerves scream in pain, which reflexively triggers an extreme spasm in the internal anal sphincter muscle. This heavy spasm gets so tight that it physically squeezes and constricts the inferior rectal artery. This causes localized ischemia, which is a lack of oxygen-rich blood flow to the area. Without that blood flow, the tear simply cannot heal. So the next time the patient goes to the bathroom, the unhealed tear rips open again, the pain returns, the spasm tightens, and the cycle just traps the patient in chronic agony. Section 5. From Botox to surgery. The arsenal of solutions. Okay, there is incredibly good news here. Because we so deeply understand the exact mechanics of both hemorrhoids and fissures, modern medicine has developed a fascinating escalation of highly effective treatments. Let's look at how this strategy builds for hemorrhoids. We escalate care logically. Step 1 is conservative medical management, upping your dietary fiber, drinking more fluids, and using stool softeners to stop the trauma. If that doesn't work, we move to non-operative clinical procedures. Doctors can literally tie off the base of the hemorrhoid with a rubber band to cut off its blood supply, or use targeted infrared coagulation to tether the tissue back into place. And finally, for the most severe, 4th-degree prolapses, surgeons can step in and perform an excisional hemorrhoidectomy to physically remove the problematic tissue. Now, for anal fissures, the treatment strategy is all about breaking that vicious cycle of spasms and ischemia we discussed earlier. In a brilliant twist of medical irony, doctors actually use chemical muscle relaxers to do this. They apply ointments like GTN, which is a medication originally used for heart conditions, or diltiazem right to the area. They even use botulinum toxin, famously known as Botox, injecting it to temporarily paralyze and relax that anal sphincter. By stopping the spasm, normal blood flow rushes back, and the body can finally heal the tear on its own. But if those ointments and injections don't manage to break the cycle, doctors can perform a highly effective, simple surgical procedure called a lateral partial internal sphincterotomy. The surgeon makes a tiny, precise cut to just slightly divide the hyperactive internal sphincter muscle. This permanently releases that crippling tension, immediately restoring blood flow and allowing the chronic fissure to heal, curing the pain almost overnight without messing with the patient's bowel control. It's a real game changer. So now that we've demystified the science behind this unmentionable pain, you can see that these are straightforward mechanical, anatomical problems with highly effective established solutions. We know why it hurts, we know the anatomy, and we know exactly how to fix it. So the only provocative question left to ask is this: if you or someone you love is suffering in silence, will you really let a social taboo stand in the way of relief? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and please, don't let stigma stop you from living a healthy, pain-free life.